Benvenuti a tutti e abbiamo qui un ospite che non avete ancora visto prima, quindi è sicuramente qualcuno di nuovo. Infatti abbiamo qui Richard Anderson, un illustratore, un concept artist e appunto un illustratore di copertine di libri fantasy, concept artist per film che sicuramente avete visto o sentito parlare come Captain Marvel o Thor. E ci chiediamo qual è che cosa fa un concept artist?
So what's the main point of a concept artist?
I think it depends on what you're working on, but most of the time it's you're in film. It's like storytelling. In video games, it's a lot more problematic and like problem solving for the game design. But yeah, it's being imaginative and creative is obviously all part of it. I mean, it all depends on what you're working on as far as like how big an environment is and the tone of a film, and then whether like you're designing cups, you know, that go for the prop designer to put on set. It's a huge range.
Per quanto riguarda il concept artist dipende da quanti sono grandi le ambientazioni, ovviamente se si tratta di oggetti piccoli si tratta di prop design, quindi tutt'altra cosa, e per quanto riguarda il concept artist bisogna avere molta immaginazione e varia anche in base a quello che si disegna, dai videogiochi ai film, quindi i videogiochi ovviamente è più un problem solving, per quanto riguarda i film è uno storytelling, quindi è anche qualcosa di molto più fluido.
That was a hard question, by the way. It's very broad.
Very broad.
Ok. No, comunque ho apprezzato molto la domanda. Molto diretta, molto difficile.
Ok. Un'altra domanda che vorrei farti è perché proprio il concept designer e non qualche altra attività legata al mondo del disegno?
So why concept artist and not other works related to drawing and illustrations?
Sorry. No, that's actually I actually am an illustrator as well, and I've done like I think I've done about 63 book covers. So it isn't just concept art, but what I like to do is so I've got my full-time job, usually in a game studio or something like that, and then on the side, sorry, to get that, fill that itch is when I take on book covers and other illustrations. And tell you the truth, most of my my favorite artists are actually illustrators. They're kind of like the golden age of illustration and some of the classic illustrators from the 60s and 50s.
Ok, allora ci tenevo a specificare il fatto che fosse anche un illustratore, quindi non sono due cose diverse ma sono complementari, e ha fatto più di 60 copertine di libri disegnate e i suoi artisti preferiti sono a loro volta illustratori.
Per quanto riguarda le copertine dei tuoi libri, tu sei molto come dire incentrato su fantasy e fantascienza. C'è qualche altro genere che ti piacerebbe fare, oppure proprio perché proprio questi due tipi di copertine?
Speaking about your book covers, you usually draw in fantasy style of science fiction, and why? And if one day you had to draw another genre, what would be?
What would it be? You know, that's funny, you get hired for, so I did one book cover that became successful, and that kind of drove that genre for me. So anytime another publisher would want to hire me, it was specifically for, oh, remember that fantasy? For instance, there's a book called Dinosaur Nights, and I did that cover, and it kind of just got me a whole bunch of recognition to do more fantasy covers. Same with science fiction. I did a couple science that did pretty well, so they hired me for sci-fi. If I had another genre, I would love to do maybe Nordic noir or something like more dark. It's what my wife loves, and it would be fun. And I think contemporary stuff is still fun for me. Yeah.
So more fantasy like.
No, like contemporary, as in like if I could still keep with my style and then apply that to something that would be very contemporary, as far as like a darker, mystery or something like that, would be very cool. It would be, yeah, it'd be fun. I like change. I do like change, yes.
Allora, principalmente quando un editore deve assumerlo, va a vedere qual è il suo stile, dato che uno dei suoi libri più famosi, le sue illustrazioni più famose, ha avuto un'illustrazione fantasy, ovviamente vanno a ricercare quel genere di illustrazione. Ha fatto anche science fiction e fantascienza, e quindi è un suo marchio di fabbrica. Ma ovviamente se ci sono altri tipi di generi che vorrebbe disegnare, è il genere giallo, quindi misteri e misteri da risolvere, insomma. Mi piace cambiare, vorrebbe fare qualcosa che rientra nel suo stile, ma non troppo contemporaneo, comunque lasciando il suo tratto unico.
Can I add to that? Yeah, so with that, what's really funny is that people don't realize that young teen books are like the best-selling books. It's very easy for authors to make a lot of money in that market. So I get contacted a lot for young teen books, and I've done a few, and they can be fun, but it's the one genre I do not like. It's always, it's way too soft is what I'll say. And I like a little bit more dark fantasy, but yeah.
Quindi i libri per ragazzini sono tanto popolari, ma non rientrano nei suoi gusti, preferisce qualcosa di molto più misterioso, molto più cupo, un vero e proprio dark fantasy.
Invece per quanto riguarda proprio il tuo stile di disegno, quali sono state le tue principali ispirazioni per arrivare a quello che effettivamente è ora?
Who are those people who inspired you making your original trait?
So I would say, like, if you're the most important artist, that is a tough one, but I would say John Berkey, a science fiction illustrator, and then Bob Peak was another. I'm trying to think really who I saw that I was like, who is that? Ashley Wood was a big one when I was a teenager. And I kind of it was very good because I kind of pulled away from him and still pulled from these older illustrators. John Singer Sargent is always like a big one, even though he wasn't an illustrator, but you know what I mean. Leyendecker, and let's see, Peak, but and obviously like there's the classics like Sid Mead. Mike Mignola.
Okay.
So there's like, I think that it's funny because they're very different, but it's like you can kind of take little pieces from each one. Is this too long to Trent?
No,
Sorry, I can split it up.
No, that's okay. I have to remember the names.
Okay.
So
Bob Peak.
Bob Peak.
Okay.
Okay.
Leyendecker.
Ashley.
Ashley Wood. Mike Mignola. And then what else did I say, guys?
You mentioned those
Sid
four.
Mead. And then there was one more, but well, I think in general that kind of explains like a pretty good. Oh, John Berkey.
John
was the
Berkey.
first one. Yes.
That's actually the first one.
Questi sono i 5 autori che, tra i tanti che hanno ispirato il suo stile. In generale lui prende varie cose di vari autori e poi li combina insieme per creare il suo tratto distinto.
Un'ultima domanda, perché sappiamo che sei di fretta. Se dovessi dare un consiglio a chi vuole diventare un illustratore e non per forza buttarsi nel mondo del fumetto, quale potrebbe essere?
So some advice for young illustrators who want to be a concept artist or illustrations in general.
I would say what I tell, it can be a little bit overwhelming for young artists now because with especially everything online, you can get overwhelmed by how many cool and good artists there are out there, and you can be influenced with them. I say the most important part is really think about who is your top 3 that you want to be like. And I would just say focus as those top 3 as your kind of like your goal mark, and that will help you narrow your what you see them doing. And then also really look at the pictures. Don't just like glance at them. Sorry, I've been talking a lot.
That's okay.
There's
you need to drink.
no, it's and then the thing is, when you have those 3, really study a few pieces and try to figure out what you like. Why do you like that? Like, why is it speaking to you? And then I think that will help you to kind of develop your own style. The other very important thing that I just spoke about with somebody today was, especially young artists, I noticed in classes when they ask me, they're very scared to make mistakes. And the point is learning is the way we learn is like make a ton of mistakes, experiment, and just make mistakes, but also just be very true to yourself. What is a mistake, and when are you making excuses, and when are you making mistakes? And like know when you're doing something wrong, and then try to fix it. But yeah, don't be afraid. Like fail over and over, and then you get better.
It's a very good advice.
Thanks.
Sbagliate, non avete paura né sbagliare, ma siate onesti con voi stessi, comprendete quando effettivamente sono degli errori oppure state semplicemente creando delle scuse, e approfittate del fatto che avete internet per, anche se può sembrare tanto per voi avere così tante fonti di ispirazione con così tanti artisti, sceglietene 3 e sono il vostro obiettivo finale. Io voglio diventare come quelle 3 persone, e seguite quel cammino senza mai abbandonare nulla, senza preoccuparvi degli errori che fate.
Allora, grazie mille per averci regalato queste parole e dei consigli per chi vorrà seguire la tua strada, e a questo punto ti ringraziamo per essere stato qui e salutiamo anche chi ci segue da casa per un prossimo incontro.
We thank you so much for your time and for all the things you told us and to our viewers, and the good advice you told us.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. I appreciate it. You're welcome.